Welcome to the Investor Coaching Show. Here's your host, Paul Winkler.
And welcome. This is the Investor Coaching Show. I am Paul Winkler. He is Evan Barnard, and we're just having a big old time today. How about you? Rain or no rain, we're going to have big...
Saving the world one investor at a time.
That's right. We're having a big time. Yeah, there he is right there. All right, so, yeah. AI. Don't start. Okay. AI, so, one of the big things going on right now. Oh, no. Evan does have something on this, doesn't he? Does he have something on it? Yeah. Well, a couple interesting things about, there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal about AI, and I'm a big fan in general. I think that there are a lot of things to be liked about, use of AI and productivity and things. It can be handy. Of course, it has its risks, and that's what people tend to focus on. It's what people always focus on in life. What are the risks? What could go wrong? What could go right is not necessarily something that typically gets us excited. Just because if it goes right, we don't have anything to prepare for. We get anxious about preparing for what could go wrong, right? That's kind of how life is, and that's all right.
And then everybody's content, and we just don't have anything to talk about.
I know. It's like, don't worry, be happy. I mean, that was a song that had a short life back in the 80s. AI revolution is already losing steam, is what they had to say about this in the Wall Street Journal. NVIDIA reported eye-popping revenue last week. Elon Musk said human-level artificial intelligence is coming next year. Big tech can't seem to buy enough of AI-powering chips. And that's one of the big reasons that NVIDIA has done so well, is they just happen to be the winner. And, did anybody really predict who was going to be the winner? I mean, we talked about this last week some, but, there were a lot of companies that could have been the winner. They just happened to be the winner on this one. But anyway, so they have... Some of the power in their chips had been sufficient to power the AI that is coming out now. And they said, is it all just hype leaving the station, or should we all hop aboard? Should we, is this something we need to get on board on? It says, but significant disappointment, is this writer puts out there, maybe on the horizon, both in terms of what AI can do and the returns it will generate for investors. Now, remember, one of the things that we always talk about here is don't necessarily look at the company that invents technology or comes out with technology and think that's going to be the best investment. The inventor of the cell phone, Motorola. The inventor of the digital camera, Kodak. Were they the companies that you wanted to invest in? No. The user of that technology, that's where you got something. So who uses that technology? Everybody. Yes. So right? Reality.
Your refrigerator probably uses AI at this point.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. So, it says that significant disappointment may be on the horizon. The rate of improvement for AI is slowing, and there appear to be fewer applications than originally imagined for even the most capable of them. It is widely expensive to build and run AI. New competing AI models are popping up constantly, and it takes a long time for them to have a meaningful impact on how most people work. Now, so what they're basically saying here is what? That the prediction of success or revolutionary benefits of AI, they were just wrong. All the predictions were just wrong, right? Which begs the question... Are the predictions of their predictions
right
that it's not going to be everything it cracked up to be? Are they going to be wrong?
Yeah,
right. I mean,
it's kind of like I hesitate to swerve into this lane, but it's
go ahead.
It's like this week's news. I have a witness that's lied before. They've stolen money. Which lie do I believe? I mean, it's kind of the same deal as which prediction is really the prediction,
right?
And is the new prediction going to be as wrong as the old prediction?
And the point that we always make is you don't have to have a prediction about the future to be a successful investor.
Yeah.
And yet that's what we constantly get. And as you said earlier in the show, Evan, when we look at this, we think 20 years ago, everybody is going to get this,
Yes, right.
right? And that's not what we see.
No.
We see it's just as bad now as it ever has been. This trying to figure out what's going to happen next, it is human nature that we want this prediction about the future because we think that we've got to know what's going to happen next in order to be a successful investor. But here's my prediction, that companies will probably have to pay to use your money in the future as well.
You think?
And that's it.
And do you think those companies are still going to want to earn a profit, Paul?
I seem to think that, and I also seem to think that you probably will have a penchant for Krispy Kreme donuts.
There we go. Yeah, humans aren't going to change.
They are not. So it says, so new and competing AI models are popping up constantly, and it takes a long time for them to have a meaningful impact on how people work. These factors raise questions about whether AI could become commoditized, about its potential to produce revenue and especially profits, or whether the new economy is actually being born. Now, here's the thing. Most things do eventually become commoditized, in my experience.
Yeah,
Most
I would
things.
agree.
There are some things that don't, like experiences, right? And that's why experiences are a big deal.
Right.
If we look at experiences, we might think of, let's say, concerts.
Yeah.
So you're not going to commoditize your favorite band. It's going to be. Well, I guess you could go see cover band.
Correct.
Of
yeah.
your favorite band, right? And but then that would be a commoditized thing. But but even as bands get older and the members are replaced, it's kind of they don't have the hype that they did when they were popular, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So
totally.
you're not going to commoditize
Totally.
that. And then you've got, let's say, if we're looking at sporting events, that'd be another thing. So you're not going to commoditize that. You're not vacations, theme parks. You might have vacations. People pay lots of money for vacations because it's an experience.
Correct.
They may pay more for one theme park versus another because of the experience at a theme park. Some restaurants, and the one that comes to mind for me is like Sinatra's.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because it's one of my favorite ones to mention because we got my friends that play the part of Sinatra at that place, at that restaurant.
Yeah.
A couple of my friends actually are the Sinatras there. Matter of fact, July 6th or something like that, I think is Third and Lindsley. Those guys are going to be there.
Oh, fun.
We're going yeah. So, you can actually see these guys live without paying for the exorbitant food. But, anyway.
When you were talking about vacations,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about a theme park as well in that illustration, but even in the midst of maybe having what's sort of an experience that's not commoditized,
Right. Uh-huh.
just thinking about my last trip to Gatlinburg, which was pre-COVID. It's probably been 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
And
Nobody goes in it there anymore. It's too crowded, right?
right, exactly. But here's the deal. There was, 10 places that sold fudge. There's 8 or 9
Yeah, that used to be
moonshine
super
places.
unique, right?
And all of a sudden, okay, now the moonshine is commoditized. The fudge is commoditized.
Yeah.
The tattoo parlors, just all of the stuff that was there was very similar.
Yeah, 50% of Americans have tattoos now. That's
Do
not
they
even
really?
That's not even unique anymore.
Wow.
50% of them.
I am a dinosaur.
And there's a doc actually talking about. No, I won't bring this up.
I'm part of the
health,
50%.
the health, potential health problems. Some of the research coming out right now. Nick's look at me. Oh, there he went there. But anyway, so so you look at that commodities,
Right.
The issue is that with commodities, you can charge more for them. Or with experiences, excuse me, you can charge more for them.
Right.
Commodities, you can't, right? So he's talking about suggesting that AI is probably getting ahead of itself in a way that we saw last in the fiber optic boom of the 1990s. And making the point that, wow, fiber optic, remember? That was like a big deal. Fiber optic, that was going to change everything. And then you had the company that ended up going under, Global Crossing.
Oh, yes.
Global Crossing. And it was they were going to be the bomb. Remember,
Yeah.
Global Crossing was,
Run their cable.
they're
Yeah.
laying the fiber optic.
Right.
And then, that didn't end so well. A lot of people lost a ton of money.
Yeah, it went to
Not
zero.
the least of which with the books were cooked, but but anyway, if you look at this boom and you think about it, this could actually have and this person says this, and let me just read the paragraph because it's well read. It's well written. They also suggest that spending on AI is probably getting ahead of itself in the way we last saw during the fiber optic boom of the late 1990s, a boom that led to some of the biggest crashes of the first dot-com bubble. So, in essence, you could have a situation where everybody thinks this is going to be the biggest thing ever, AI, and then all of a sudden it doesn't become anywhere near what we thought it was going to be. These models work by digesting huge volumes of text. And it's undeniable that up till now, simply adding more has led to better capabilities. But a major barrier to continuing down this path is that companies have already trained their AIs on more or less the entire internet. We've basically tapped everything that's out there is what they're saying right here. I mean, just think about that.
There's nothing left to learn.
All the data on the internet, and they've already been able to go through this. That is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
That just is mind-boggling to me. I just have to
agree.
sit on that for a second. And they're running out of additional data to hoover up, to suck up.
Oh,
Hoover up.
I thought there was some new tech term I'd missed.
Well,
What's hoovering up?
Well, when I played baseball when I was a kid, and I had this big old glove.
Oh.
I was a shortstop, and they used to call me Hoover because everything that got hit
Well,
my
that's a
way,
good
I'd
nickname
suck
for
it
a
up.
baseball player.
I'd suck it up. Yeah, so that's, but anyway, Hoover vacuum cleaner, so you don't remember those things.
Cool.
Further evidence of the slowdown and improvement of AI can be found in research showing that the gaps between the performance of various AI models are closing. All of the best proprietary AI models are converging on about the same scores on tests of their abilities, which that's surprising. That's shocking to me. That because there are a lot of different firms, and literally AI is becoming commoditized. Which that blows my mind. As new as that technology is, it's already commoditized.
Well, yeah.
That's
So
good.
I took a course for about 16 weeks on employing some of this stuff in both advertising and business and just writing all these areas that it's available to. And of course, even some of the tech has changed just since the course, which was January, February, and March. And there's already new companies. But a huge percentage of the tools that we were using were free.
Right.
And that's the least you can charge for anything is nothing.
For sure.
And now it's getting commoditized. I'm like, they're going to have to pay me to use AI if it was free, and now it's commoditized.
Right.
Here, we'll give you $10 if you use this program.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, the thing I think about it, because I've tried to use it for some applications here in the business, and I found it didn't help me, simply because, especially for creative type things, because a lot of the stuff out on the internet, I look at and go, I don't necessarily agree, and they may be pulling from things because AI is pulling from all over the place, but I look at it and it just doesn't make sense to me the way it's actually put out there. So, I think that there are people out there that are probably generating some great content that they're simply not putting on the internet. And so therefore AI doesn't get access to it, right?
That may become the new IP niche, is a physical asset that isn't digital. Like a book that isn't online, a book that's not, it's just a work that isn't there.
And you think about it, I don't know if AI is accessing, there are some white papers out there that you have to pay to get access to if you want to get access to the information.
I had to guess.
You think that they are getting access to
bet.
it? Yeah, I don't know. That's a question. I don't know the answer to that, but I have found that for me, I actually subscribe to a service.
Yep.
In order to get access to white papers on, deep dive.
SSRN and several.
Hey,
yeah.
Deep dive is the one I'm in. So if I need, let's say, a piece of research paper that's peer reviewed, that's where I go. And so they're saying here that there's, because AI has to think anew every single time something is asked of it, and the resources that they use generate an answer are far larger than what it takes to, say, return on a conventional search result for an almost entirely ad-supported company like Google, which is now offering AI-generated summaries across billions of search results. Analysts believe delivering AI answers on those searches will eat into companies' margins. So in essence, what we're looking at here is, if we are going to go AI on everything, and AI is giving us much deeper answers than a company like Google that is charging for advertising. Because if you put a search item in there, you'll get advertising, and the first several items that come up in your search are going to be ads, right? But if you can go straight to AI and bypass that, and some of the AI examples, to Evan's point earlier, are actually developing answers, and they are referencing the papers that the information was drawn from.
Yeah.
So in effect, if I can get a better answer and I bypass the advertising, then the revenue to them is zip, and I'm going to do that.
Well, they're going to,
as a consumer.
Ultimately, they're going to charge for it. That's coming.
Yeah. Well, and it may be that they're going to charge for that, if they can.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody that's going to come out there and go, hey, you know what? If you just, like I used to use this one program when I was getting my master's degree. I would actually go in and I would do a, I would do a search of the paper. And what was the service I was using? Oh man, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. But basically what would happen is I wanted information, and I would input the data that I wanted. And then they would come back and they go, oh, I know what it was. It was getting the references for the papers.
Oh yeah.
So if I wanted to get the reference written out for me for the end of my paper, what I would do is I would put in what the name of the paper was, and it would write it out in APA format. And what happened was that they came up with this way of doing it, which was, here is the reference that you were looking for, but wait, you can either pay to subscribe to our service or watch this 60-second ad.
Yeah.
And I was like, 60-second ad, baby. I'm going to go get a drink of water.
That's right. Get another donut.
Drink of water for me. But that's exactly what I did.
Yep.
And, how do you charge for it? Well, the point being here is this. And the main point is a lot of the return that investors are getting from their portfolios right now is due to just a few companies that are really big in the AI world.
Yes.
What happens if this dude is right? And all of a sudden, these companies, which were really, arguably, all of the return, or a majority of the return of the S&P 500,
right,
all of a sudden their business model is no good. You got a problem if you're the average American investor and you have no clue that most of your money are in those big U.S. companies, and you're in a cap-weighted index that is heavily weighted toward those big AI companies, and all of a sudden these big predictions don't come to fruition. Because some of these companies are selling for many, many multiples of their earnings.
Yes.
And if that comes crashing down, you got a problem. So this is why we want to be diversified.